Howdy. What's going on, everybody? Let's get into what I finished reading this week. We have Sundered Moon by Zammar Ahmer. I believe I'm going to ask him Friday. I'm going to ask him this Friday. Today's Wednesday. When you guys are seeing this video tonight on my community tab at Iskandaria's channel, myself, him, Alex at Iskandaria, and Mr. Zammar Ahmer will be having a conversation about Riven Earth and Sundered Moon over there. Please go check it out. I'm excited to chat with the author, excited to give more of my thoughts on this book, spoiler free, so people can get into the duology. That said, this is the second part of the duology, so I don't want to give too much away. I'll say this. The world is hyper unique. It is a character in and of itself, but not of itself, if that makes sense. I feel like the world is very dynamic in the facets that make it up. I feel like there's a lot of dynamic and a lot of moving parts within the world. There are some aspects that aren't particularly unique in concept, but are extravagantly unique in execution. And I highly suggest this duology if you want to mix it up, if you want something different. I think it is technically grimdark. The ending is a lot happier than I think I expected it to be. I think I had this kind of existential dread as I was going through this duology. I had this expectation. By the way, this scene with the cover, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. It explores some themes that I'm not particularly used to when reading fantasy. There's some epic battle scenes involving creatures rather than humans. Well, and humans. I don't know. It's very cool. It's a very, very interesting and original book as far as what I've read. I definitely, in mulling it over, I finished it this morning. So in just like having a day to mull it over, it's still Wednesday. I'm filming a little early today because tomorrow when I usually film, I'm going to be occupied all day. I can get to that later in the video. But yeah, so this is a very good book. The covers are beautiful. Please go check them out. If you have Kindle Unlimited, give them a whirl on there. Check them out in your library. Read through them there. This is a phenomenal. I'd say the prose is very polished. I know it's independently published, so there's that fear kind of going into it that it'll pull you out of a story. I did not have that problem with this book or either book for that matter. The characters are very fleshed out. I'd say in the first book, they definitely pop off the page more to me, but they are so dynamic going into the second book that I just essentially had to ground myself in their development and the choices that they made. And there are some unique things that happen to the characters in this book in particular, that and the fates of each character is awfully unique. Nobody is the same at the beginning of Riven Earth to the end of Sundered Moon, and it feels a lot of it does feel definitely earned. A lot of it feels like these characters have kind of made choices that led them to these points. And in some circumstances, some of them aren't choices at all. And so therefore, please go check out Sundered Moon. Well, check out Riven Earth first. They're both phenomenal. It's a great duology. I'm happy to have read it. I'm happy to have been introduced to it. And I'm excited to talk to Mr. Zammar with Alex on Friday. So that is what I finished reading. Now let's get to what I am currently reading. Now I haven't picked it up since this morning. But I'm going to be combining with the audiobook and the obviously book to finish this over the next hopefully 72 to 96 hours, so I can talk about this next week and actually have it finished. And going from there, I will be hitting Royal Assassin. That said, I'm gonna continue to talk about Empire of the Vampire for probably like 20 more seconds because I talk about it every week of how I'm going to finish it. But we are at the tail end of October here, and I am going to finish it before the end of the month. It is my spooky season read. That said, I'm also listening to probably one or two segments from Nightmare Land as recommended by Esme from the comments. I picked that up on Audible this week. I mean, they're super easy to digest on Audible. They're really quick, short. I think they're short stories based on the chapters that I saw on Audible. They're going to be really fast for me to listen to. So as another little spooky read for myself, I'm gonna give those a listen and hopefully start tearing through the first part of Blackwater a little. As I listened to Mr. Zammar, excuse me, chat about it on his channel. and he finished it. The character work, the way it's described, reminds me a lot of Lonesome Dove, and so I'm kind of looking forward to diving into a horror instead of Western sort of situation. He says it feels more like historical fiction, so I'm excited to pick that up. So that is what I will be getting into before next week. We're going to be finishing up Empire of the Vampire and definitely starting Royal Assassin by then. I have no doubt in my mind. Now, Holy Hannah, guys. We're on to Berserk right now. We're going to talk about Volume 11 of Berserk, which I just finished today. Oh man, there are spoilers ahead of this point. So if you're, not about that, I'm kind of talking about my journey through Berserk here. So I'm gonna get into it, and let's go. So you have the Blackhound Knights pursuing Guts and the Band of the Hawk, who have just rescued Griffith. And we have a lot of development as we're entering the climax, I believe, of the Golden Age arc. And holy Hannah. First of all, Guts is obviously so badass. He knows he can't run away from his death, and so he just faces it, what he assumes is his death. And then we find out from the flying Zod, Nosferatu Zod, is that may not be the case, and that we'll know in the future. Now, as I finished Volume 11, there's a table of contents of chapters in Volume 12. The last chapter of Volume 12, after what I just witnessed, I'm kind of mad I read the chapter title, but it's called The Feast. And now, I don't know if there are any Sun Eater fans here, but I'm not going to spoil anything for Sun Eater. But from what my friend over at Nerd Level Rising, Jake, has told me, and Alex as well, I have I'll say low, I'll use the word low expectations in terms of what I'm about to experience. That's all I'll say. I don't think it's ruined it for me, so don't think that. I think it's going to, whatever is about to happen is going to impact me greatly. And I do appreciate the dark material that is in Berserk. I appreciate the kind of like mostly unexplored concepts and themes that this story goes through. And Guts' journey, I think, Guts as a character, I think, is about to drastically change. And though he really has been pretty static, I'd say, which maybe you guys will disagree with me. Please feel free in the comments below. Maybe there's something I'm missing. That and this isn't a knock on the writing or Guts in any way, shape, or form. I don't think it's a bad thing that he's static. I think it actually is. I'm going to say he's developed. He has, but I think his worldview is about to wholly change. Obviously, because of the Guts we meet in the very first volume, and the one we've been seeing with Griffith and with Casca, and he just smiles a little bit. He throws, in the face of danger, he throws out quiffs here and there, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens here because I think it's about to be incredibly disturbing, and I think I'm going to get a sort of sick enjoyment out of it. Guts, Berserk, and Berserk has been a fantastic read so far. And by the way, Christopher Rocchio just did an interview with my friend Jake over at Nerd Level Rising. If you missed the live stream, go to his channel, check it out. I'll actually just link the video itself in the description below. It was fantastic. They talk about the craft of writing. They do mention Berserk, which is why I'm bringing it up here. I just hit the mic. And the epic lightsaber has, there we go. Good to go. Okay. That's what I'm currently reading, guys. I'm currently reading Empire of the Vampire and Berserk. I will be getting into Royal Assassin before this next update. So, as we talked about what I finished reading, Sundered Moon, what I'm currently reading, what I will be reading, let's talk a little bit about some things that I picked up. Okay. I had this, Dark Age by Pierce Brown. I'm up to this point, and now talking about darkness and Berserk, and talking about darkness and Christopher Rocchio, and kind of transitioning into sci-fi. I do not plan to pick this up until January, but I did bring it from New Jersey over here just so I had the physical copy with me. I've been doing these on audiobook. I'm probably going to combine the two going into Dark Age because from my understanding, this is really where things take a turn. And John over at Talking Story has mentioned liking this one better, or this trilogy, the current 3 books that are out in the second arc of Red Rising compared to the first 3. And I'm excited to see where Pierce Brown goes with that series. I also picked up the physical copy of War and Ruin. I needed it for my collection, and based after I found out he signed with Broken Binding, just the instinct in me was like, pick it up just in case. Like they're gonna keep printing these covers, which is nice, so we can complete our collection. But red is my favorite color. Is the only one I didn't have, with the exception of the ice, which I will likely pick up within the next several months. But yes, so I picked this up just to have it. Used my points on Amazon. I will also be getting to We Are the Dead within the next probably 2 or 3 weeks, so as to finish it for our discussion. My discussion with the Red Company, Chris over at Bearded Book Beast, Alex from Iskandaria, and Jake over at Nerd Level Rising. And we'll see where that goes. We'll see who we bring along for that. So that's that. Now let me talk about some life stuff. Jake made a video again at Nerd Level Rising. He's doing all the work, you guys. I'm just kind of tagging along. We're doing a D&D game with booktubers. If you have not seen the video already, it's been announced November 6th at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Myself, we have one of Jake's friends, Will be DMing, who also writes fantasy, and John at Talking Story, Brian from Bell 2, myself, and Jake will be playing. And I am so looking forward to, after hearing kind of, the blurb that the DM gave us and the characters that I've been thinking about. I'll just tell you guys right now, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm thinking about a bard. All right. I think I was going to do a barbarian with a kind of a spin on rage, but I'm going to play a bard. I know everyone's shocked, but I don't really play casters uniquely as themselves. As a standalone, I usually multi-class them. So I know a bard is kind of like a flexible caster. I usually play like the half caster types, and bard I think classifies in there. I won't ruin the college of subclass that I'm going, but I'm very excited to be playing this particular character and the theme I'm going to be going with the character as I play them. It's exciting. As far as other life things, I'm going to be tomorrow, which is why I'm filming today on Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. I will be on set for a movie as an extra. It's nothing crazy. I don't obviously want to. I don't know. I haven't signed anything, but you never know. You got to just kind of keep your mouth shut and don't take it for granted. It's my first time doing this. A client of mine actually told me to submit for a role as in the background of a film that they're filming here in New York. So I'm kind of excited to be doing that, since it's kind of just one of those. I take acting classes on Saturdays at this pretty reputable group here in the city, and it's fun. I love improv. I love acting. It's just I'm obsessed with storytelling. I cannot say that enough. I'm obsessed with it. And so, yeah, I'm going to be doing that this week. And so it's taking a little bit more of my time. Therefore, I'm filming today, not tomorrow. Now, I just hit my mic. Now that's the life stuff taken care of. Logan, I haven't made any ground on as far as comics are concerned. I haven't broken any more ground on Red Country just yet. I'm going to be I'll probably really hyper focus on a single fantasy book at a time. I think that's been an issue with me, and not an issue so much as I think reading multiple books in the same genre has made my reading more challenging for myself. I think I can read multiple books at the same time. I have found that reading multiple books in the same genre has been challenging for me. So I'm just going to kind of stick. I'm on a very hard fantasy grind right now, and therefore, like I talked about in my last week's video, I'm going to be probably breaking it up with some Hemingway, a short read, something I can do in a day. But we'll see. I'm very flexible with my TBR. That said, I'm pretty hard. I want to go back on getting into Robin Hobb ASAP. That's where I'm going next. So that's my reading. Thank you again, guys, for coming for my reading. I'm going to get into my writing now. So if you're just here for the reading aspect, you can click off. Thank you so much. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe, leave in the comments down below what you've been reading. And I'd love to talk more about what stories move you and why they move you and how they move you. And so let's talk about my writing. So from this week to last week, I believe I'm up to 171,000 words, and I haven't written today. And I usually make these on Thursdays. Therefore, I'm hitting my word count for the week. It's just a matter of actually, I have today, and then I'll be there for my weekly goal. And then I have tomorrow, which I may have time on the job that I'm going to be on. I'm going to bring my sister gave me a smaller MacBook that I'm going to use. So I'm up to 171,000 words from last week to this week. I wrote a scene where I got payoff that I had been planning in my head from when I started writing the very first book. And so now book 2 at 171,000 words. Book 1, we have a concepts coming in on Friday. When you guys are watching this, I should have the concepts. I'll be sharing them with a few select friends just to get some feedback on what they think of the concepts as fans of the genre. And then as we move into the new year and I begin my Substack, I will be posting these things there for free. I will be working on a short story in the month of December as my developmental editor has book 1, and that way it can go up. And the short story I'm working on in that month can go up in January. Christopher Rocchio mentioned MarsCon, where he's the guest of honor in Virginia Beach this year. And it's in mid-January, and I'm thinking I go down to Virginia Beach every once in a while, so I'm thinking about going down there for it. It seems relatively affordable, and it's an easy flight for me. It's like an hour and a half max. So I think that's something I'm going to do because I'm just such a fan of Christopher Rocchio's. It'd be cool to meet him. And then there's some other news I'll share related to that in terms of a connection by chance. So anyways, that's the writing updates. If you guys have any questions about writing, not that I'm an expert on the subject in terms of process, I think everybody's process is unique. Please feel free to leave in the comments down below if you want to talk about the project you're working on in the comments. I would love that. I'd appreciate it. I'm sure there's other people out there who are looking for a story like yours. And so please leave that in the comments down below. I'm going to cut this video, guys. Thank you again so much for coming and watching every week, checking these updates. I'll see you guys next week.